All right, I have mine recording as well.
Oh, I can start recording too. Wait, let's see.
Oh, the whole thing is I can't click out of Skype. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Should we blow through this real quick?
Oh. You can do that. It says
recording.
Started recording.
Alright, if we all just record, maybe one of ours will take.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so,
Thanks, pal.
start.
Oh, shit.
Nice job.
Okay, so I did my MIS toolkit in Slack, and what I did was I separated like the channels for like the definitions, resources, skills, and in the general chat, I'm gonna do my reflection. And basically, I just went through all my notes from the semester and picked out the things that really stood out to me or things I found interesting. I wrote them, and then if I had to elaborate on them, I opened up a thread for that so that I could go in and look and like maybe eventually like add on to it. And yeah.
Cool.
What I did for mine was, so I used Trello, which in hindsight, after seeing some of the other ones, I wish that I used Slack, but I kind of took a similar approach. I kind of used the quizzes, especially the stuff that I didn't know. I used the chapters, the slides, stuff like that, and kind of just gathered everything together to fulfill all three topics. And yeah, I might take it all from Trello and put it into, from Trello and put it into Slack, but we'll see.
All right. Good idea. I started mine on Word document and brainstormed a little bit on every chapter, wrote a little bit what I was interested in, some parts that frustrated me. So I think I definitely overwrote. So I'm going to, after listening to your ideas, definitely going to go back to Slack and finish up and narrow down a little bit more of my ideas, my points, and post from Slack as well.
I use. Oh my god. Okay, so this is Denisha. At first I used Trello, but it was too much for me, so I decided to use Quizlet and to create flashcards as well as to help me practice for quizzes and other things. Quizlet is much easier and much organized for me, and I know I'm going to use that for future classes. And yeah, that's it.
Alrighty, so I'm Alexis Alford. What I use Trello, Slack, and then we're also using Skype now. So in Trello, it's like different boards that's on Trello. So it says like to do. So I have all my class notes from each class, being that I take notes in the class. So I have like all my notes for all the classes on the to do side. They're already done. And then for the doing side, I have like the definitions, skills, and resources. So for like definitions, I don't really have anything in there because I use Quizlet, and I also use that to study for like all of the quizzes and stuff like that. So like I have definitions in there, but I don't really use that. I really use Quizlet a lot. Skills, I have some skills written down that I took notes from in the class, and then resources, like different websites that he pointed out to us, and also things that we should keep in mind that I want to take with me further once the class is over. So like some resources are like the great websites like Trello, Slack. They're great resources that I can use in different classes. When it comes to Quizlet, I use that to help me study for the quizzes. I'm familiar with it from high school. I've been using it for a while, so I'm familiar with how it works. It helps me ace most of the quizzes in class. And then also, I use Slack as well with my group. When we all like come together and we all talked about like our ideas and stuff like that, we use Slack to talk about everything. And then also we're using Skype now to do the whole video thing. So those are the 3 different apps that I used for my MIS toolkit.
Do we still have one person left? Or?
Yeah. Okay. So I use Discord, and it's just like Slack, but I'm just more familiar with it. So I've separated by chapters and just 20% in reflection, and then I have the key points in each chapter and what we talked about those days that really struck a note with me. So yeah, that's it.
And by the way,
Just
Professor Guela, this is
want to add any
what's that?
positives?
Negatives?
Now, does anyone add anything like positive that came from this project?
I think it was cool to see, kind of be exposed to things that I was never previously exposed to, like Trello, for instance. I think that it's applicable to a lot of like certain things just in my everyday life. With like, I'll use it for scheduling with school and work and stuff now. So I think it was cool to kind of expand at least my personal horizons a little bit.
I agree.
I thought it was nice because it was just a review of the whole class.
I think it'll make a good resource, in a couple years to come to kind of look back to, in case once we're all kind of in the real world with this kind of stuff, we can reflect back because it can be potentially useful in certain circumstances.
Yeah, I actually will say I work. I edit websites at my job, and I actually use a lot of the stuff that I put in my toolkit, and so like the things that like I thought became skills for me, I put them in my skills section, and like it was just kind of nice to like organize what I learned, and like maybe at the beginning of the semester I would have viewed some of the skills that I put in as like definitions, but like now they've become skills and like resources, and it was just interesting to see how like I categorized them because of like the way that like we learned them.
I agree with that. All right, cool. Part 2.
All right. All right, I stopped recording. Just finalizing your recording. I don't know where it goes, though.